While on the dark web, I found my missing friend. Most people have heard of the dark web. They think that most of it is just a bunch of killers talking to each other and weird sites or cursed videos. Maybe. I've never encountered anything like that. Most of the dark web nowadays is just drugs and illegal porn. If you were wondering how I know about this, I found out about the dark web from a couple of YouTube videos on the topic. So one day I got bored from searching the regular net and downloaded the Tor browser. I waited for it to download, but as it did, I got a couple of things ready. I got a piece of paper and tape to cover my webcam. That way no one can hack it. I also got an antivirus software on my computer just to be double safe. When the notification dinged that Tor was done downloading, my heart started beating fast in excitement. Like when you have your phone on late at night, you're worrying if your parents are going to bust in. I clicked Tor and I am brought instantly to the dark web search engine. I played around with a few safe sites from other YouTube videos. I instantly became disappointed on what I did see. Most of the sites were drug and porn related. There were a few money laundering sites, but still nothing unusual like what I was hoping for. There were a couple of site dump sites. I clicked a few of these, but mostly came up with cult sites and red rooms where you had to pay a lot of crypto. Not that I was interested in a red room. From a dark web forum that I saw, most of them just played gore footage 24/7. While scrolling through a dump link site, a web page instantly caught my eye. The site was called x.missing.y. Intrigued, I clicked on the site, preparing to look away if something illegal came up, as most of them did. What I came across was a bunch of missing posters. I scrolled through the endless web of pages. Most of them were missing from 20 to 40 years ago. A couple of these names I even recognized from the news outlets. I thought at first this might be a site that documents missing people and hope that someone on the dark web can help them find them. I click on a couple of ones, but it just brought me to another page that showed the missing picture, but at the bottom it showed 0 entries. What do they need entries for? I thought as I hovered my mouse over it. Then another black thing showed up on it saying 0 megabytes. Do these things have files on each of them? Another thought crossed my mind as I exit the page. I scroll through a few more missing people reports until I just stopped on one. My heart started beating as sweat was rolling down my face as I looked at the person on the poster. Chance McLean, missing April 14th, 2010. I remembered that face. He was an old friend I had at elementary school. He was 10 years old, a nice kid that always did as he was told by his parents and teachers. One day we were playing at the school playground on the jungle gym, and the next second he was just gone. All the teachers looked for him before calling the police. No one knew where he was. They did a search for 3 weeks, but no clues popped up on his whereabouts. Why is his picture here? I thought as I clicked on it. There lied 5 file attachments added to it. It came up to at least a gig. I downloaded all the files. I didn't care if they had a virus or not. I just wanted to know what was in them. What they were letting other people on here see. As the files got done downloading, I exited Tor, clicked up in my file manager. There is 1 audio file, 2 picture files, and 2 video files. My heart was beating as I heard a man say, "Is the camera ready?" Then I heard a shrill scream of Chance going, "No, no, no!" I quickly turned the audio off as my ears were still ringing from the screams. Then, as I calmed myself down, I clicked on the first picture. All it showed was a picture of Chance with a before imprinted on it. I already knew that the next picture, it wasn't going to be Chance smiling. I clicked it anyway and immediately threw up. I can't even give you the details. It's the horrific picture. After this, I'm scared to look at the videos. What should I do? Do I call the police? Hey everyone, I just wanted to come in here and talk a little bit to you. As I'm sure you can see, there's a lot more video left, but just in between these stories, I wanted to talk a little bit about the writer of the videos. The writer of the video is DBZKing13 on Reddit, and I found their videos about a year ago and I fell in love with them. They're just so interesting and out of the box and just has some very unique premises. So so if you could go ahead and check them out on Reddit, you can find their own Reddit r/lingering shadows, where they have all of their stories reposted. Or if you want to, you can look on No Sleep, but I highly recommend checking out their own subreddit, just to, give them some love. Anyways, I think that that's a long enough interruption, so now let's get back to the rest of these stories. I found another door in my house. I looked at the door with a mix of confusion and anger. Jeff, my friend and neighbor, looks at the door with me. The door looks old, not like the rest of the house, which is nice and clean, but this door looks dirty and crusty, something you would find at an abandoned house. "I'm with you, man. I don't think I've ever seen that door there before," Jeff says. I let out a deep breath, trying to calm myself down as I unclenched my fist. "So I ain't crazy. There's a literal door right there on the stairway?" I ask him again. As if to prove my point, he goes up to the door and taps on it. "You think I should call the contractors or the bank?" As Jeff was just staring and studying the door, he looks again at me. "Maybe the contractors?" "I don't know, man." He says this generously. He knows how pissed I am and is trying not to make me make a fool of myself. "Well, I guess I'll call the contractors tomorrow then. Thanks, man. Sorry if I sounded angry on the phone," I tell him as we head to the door. "It's cool, man. I'd be angry too if I found another door in my house." He then heads back to his house on the left. I shut the door, now feeling relaxed. I wonder how Sarah would react to this whenever she gets home. She would probably react the same as I did. Good thing she went out for groceries and I came back from the book sale at the Barnes & Noble. Before I lock the door, I write a note and put it on the front door for Sarah. I then go up the stairway with a now existing door on it, which I'm still confused about. As I get in the warm shower, I start thinking of after dinner to see what's inside it. You hear a lot of crazy stories of people finding another person living in their house. When Sarah comes back from the store, I show her the now there door. She says that she agrees with me and asks me the question I was hoping she'd ask. "You want to open it?" She looks at me, smiling with them daring eyes of hers. I smile at her as if to say I accept her challenge and reached my hand towards the doorknob and open it, my heart beating with anticipation. As my hand turns the doorknob, it stops halfway. I frown as I realized it's locked. I turn around and ask my wife if she's seen a key that we don't have, kind of like the door. She shakes her head no. Sarah then tells me that she is going to go get ready for bed and kisses me on the cheek playfully. As I watch her go upstairs, I then turn my attention back to the door. Why is it locked? Why did we just now notice it if it has been here before? I then hear my wife holler at me from upstairs to go to bed. As I go up, I take one last look at the door that seems out of place, and then I go upstairs. I hear knocking from my sleep, and as I awake, I get up. I look at my wife to see if she was also awake, but she wasn't. I then get up and go out into the hallway and look downstairs with my heart beating. I hear the knocking, but this time it sounds a bit louder. I went down the stairs and looked through the keyhole of my front door. I don't see anyone there. My heart suddenly starts beating. It's the feeling that you get when you know that someone else is in your home. Someone that you did not invite. Heading over to the kitchen, I grab a knife from the knife stand and begin to search the house. I see nobody except for me and my wife. I slowly put the knife down as I feel a bit relieved, but the hairs on my body are still standing up. Jump as I hear the knocking again, except it's louder than the other ones. I put my attention towards the door that just appeared yesterday, my heart beating as I hear the new door shake as the knocking continues. I drop the knife in my hand as I suddenly start shivering, my body moving uncontrollably as I walk towards the banging door. Why isn't Sarah awake? I think. My hand, moving with a force that isn't my own, touches the doorknob and starts to turn. I smile, remembering that the door was locked because there was no key to it. With my heart beating like it was going to come out of my chest and my body feeling tense, the door somehow opens up. My heart drops as I see an endless plane of shadow in the room. It looks like it could go on for miles. With the door still creeping open, one of my feet take a step forward. I realize that I'm being drawn into this infinite realm of darkness. Sarah, my mouth tries to move, but it can't. Why isn't she getting up? I say to myself, no actual words leaving my mouth. I felt like I was going to cry. My left foot then follows the right one, and the cycle continues. It feels like time is moving slowly as I'm walking, like I'm headed towards the Green Mile. My eyes are beginning to swell up. I take what I think is my final steps in, and the door slams shut with a loud bang. I feel the force leave my body as I cry out in fear. I hear Sarah shouting my name as I look towards where the door had been. Mike! Mike! She yells, worried. I scramble towards the door and yell back at her. Sarah, honey, can you hear me? Mike, where are you? Where is the door? I slump down on the floor of darkness as I realize that the door is no longer there. I continue to hear my wife yell for me as she is banging on the spot where the door used to be. With nothing else to do, I cry myself to sleep. If you're wondering how I'm typing this, I found my phone in my pocket. I'm gonna send this message to anyone I can in hopes of finding me again. There should be more people here. Should be more doors. Sarah, my darling, if you are one of the people reading this, I love you and I will get back to you. As to the people that are not Sarah, if one day you notice a door that wasn't there before, wait till nightfall. When you hear the banging coming from your new house addition, please open it. I met the real librarian. What was your school library like? What was your school librarian like? Was he or she mean? Were they nice? The reason I'm asking you all this will become clear when I tell my story. Hopefully you will catch on to what I'm saying, or just think this is another creepypasta and scroll on. On one particular day where everything was fine, we all had fun that day in middle school, and I liked hanging out with my friends because I couldn't hang out with them after school. When the time to go to the library came, I was excited. I loved the library. I basically loved books in general. The time you can spend and think that you're in a fictionally created world is fascinating. The way the library is usually always quiet is good for me. I love reading in silence. I especially love having conversations with the old librarian, Miss White. She was a sweet, kind old woman. Nobody rarely was mean to her, or if they were properly scolded by the principal. As all my classmates were in the library doing our science work, because our teacher called in sick, the bell rung. Welp, off to music, I thought. But I had to finish this chapter of the book I was reading first. I already had completed my work, and I always did before my other classmates. I was reading a fantastic story about a thing called a hobbit. I loved fantasy worlds, the way that even if you stray too far from the story just to explore the world and the book itself. I hear someone call my name in sort of a silent whisper. Mark. I turned around to find no one in the library, not even the librarian. My heart started beating as I put the book up. Hello? Miss White? I called out, thinking that she was probably in the back with the audio tapes and the newer books that they get through the mail. Shit, I thought. Gonna be late. As I went towards the door, I heard my name in that same silent whisper. Mark. I heard it this time, and it sent chills all the way down my spine. My brain instinctively went into fight or flight mode, but I went to the direction of the voice anyway. For some reason, I couldn't move my legs on my own. It was like something was controlling me. My legs felt like they were about to faint as I kept walking. I felt like I was going to black out. Help, I thought, and pleaded to my brain. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to this voice. What is this voice, and what does it belong to? As I went past Mrs. White's desk and towards the small dark room that's always seemed like something is going on in there, to look for Miss White, I took a quick glance past the desk and into the hallway as no one was in it. Well, I'm in trouble now, I thought sarcastically, since I'm pretty sure the thing with the voice planned to kill me. I took a quick glance past the desk and into the hallway. No one was in it. My head then goes back towards the room that I was headed towards. It feels like I'm walking on death row, I think. Then my whole body stops moving. I couldn't even move if I tried. My throat was becoming dry and sweat was going down my body. A long, hairless hand with claw-like features went out in the dark room and held onto the right side of the door. Please don't go out any further, I thought in fear. I'll have nightmares for the rest of my life. Mark, it says in that silent voice whisper again as its other arm goes to the left side, both arms leaving scratch marks by the door. Then its grotesque head comes out of the darkness. It looked like Mrs. White's head, except morphed into a terrifying shape. Mark. As the silent voice goes through its hideous open mouth with brooding, sharp teeth. In my mind, I'm crying as I'm thinking I'm going to die. I knew that if I died, it wouldn't leave anything left. This hideous creature wouldn't have survived this long without doing so. I then, with one last resort of the humanity that I could still move and think with, went to embrace a hopefully fast death. Warn them, that thing said in the same dark whisper. Until then, I noticed the rasp in its voice. Warn the bad ones that I will come for them. Then this thing went back into the darkness of the room, and my body felt as if released by its weight. Then, with the same fear of it still lingering, I ran to the door of the library and started knocking and banging as fast and hard as I could. When a teacher eventually came to my aid, I found out that the school day was over with. Somehow that thing kept me there for the entire rest of the school day. As the teacher that helped me went to lead me out of the school building, I went to take one last look at the dark room. None of that thing's scratch marks were left near the door. It made my heart beat faster as I left the school building. Now, what I'm going to say is exactly what the creature wanted me to warn. I got what it was trying to say and what the creature is. The thing is a manifestation of all librarians' bad thoughts. It then heads out and hunts the kids that made it come into existence. It never hunted me, but I know that as I went to a couple high school reunions, that some of my classmates that everyone knew as the bad kids, but that had changed suddenly, had mysteriously disappeared. Miss White, the librarian, died when I went into high school, but that creature still lives. Memories linger more than a person does when it dies. So next time you see your librarian, make sure you're nice to him or her. Make sure to warn the bad kids in your school. And if you are one of the bad kids reading this, I pray for you, 'cause it's already with you, watching. Guys, I really hope that you liked this highlight reel. I'm really hoping that in the future I can do more highlight reels covering several stories from creators on Reddit. I honestly just think it's really nice to be able to listen to not only just one story from a creator, but several. I think it really highlights their range and creativity. So that is something I'm hoping to do more of in the future. So once again, I just want to thank DBZ King 13 for allowing me to narrate these stories. And also, if you're familiar with my videos at all, you'll know that the thumbnail for this video is also the thumbnail for The Librarian. And with that, I just have to highlight the illustrator that has allowed me to use that image for this video. It is Isabel Bartnicki. Please, if you guys like art, check them out. Their website is www.isabel with two L's Bartnicki NICKI.art. I'll have her website listed in the description. Please check her out. Alright, with all of that said, and with the rain pattering on my window behind me, I think the only thing that I have left to say is I hope you have a spooky rest of your day.